What's going on, everyone? Isaiah Henry here with First Position Real Estate. Welcome to the live show. Today we have on Brandon. It's going to be a great episode here. While he's just getting logged in, we'll send him an invite in a little bit. Little updates from us. What's going on here? Just did a couple virtual walkthroughs with myself and my realtor. Looking at a couple properties there. There's still deals out there, guys. There's still deals, which is really cool there. Also, make sure if you haven't already, block off September 25th in your calendar. First Position Real Estate, we're working on an event. It's going to be a great event. We're finalizing it with a few sponsors and people that are involved, but mark it. September 25th. It's going to be a great event held by myself and First Position Real Estate. Why don't we go ahead and get Brandon in here? What's going on, Wade? Let us invite. I'll tell you straight up, this was not meant for men with big fingers. There you go. Also, we are looking for a couple new guests. We've had some reach out, so we'll have to. Oh, there he is, Bob Boy himself, Brandon. What's going on, baby?
Isaiah, how's it going, man? How are
Not too
you?
bad. Not too bad, man. I'm not gonna lie. The weather's beautiful. It's warm outside, so there's ain't no trouble here. Ain't no trouble with me.
Oh, hey, I'm right there with you, man. I think probably after this, I'll go for a walk, kind of enjoy the weather, and just reset my brain. It's been one of those days, you know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, man, it's been one of those days for me too. So I'm glad that there's someone else out there. Just a quick intro for everyone who's just joining us now. My name's Isaiah Henry. I'm with First Position Real Estate. I help government employees invest in real estate so they can build wealth and retire early. Today we have on Brandon. Brandon, why don't you introduce yourself? Give us a little high-level synopsis of what's going on.
Yeah, of course. Hey, everyone. So a little bit about myself. So started investing in real estate about a year ago. So still quite kind of, let's say, fresh in the space. It was kind of an interesting story. Before this, didn't live or breathe anything about real estate. I was sort of working in finance, specifically in project management. Then a friend had told me like, "Hey, we just bought a triplex in Sudbury." I'm like, "Tell me more." And then they told me about what the burst strategy was, and it was literally, you know, taking the red pill in the Matrix and unplugging and
Ooh.
being like, "Whoa, what is all this?" And then it kind of hit me, and I did a deep dive into kind of the resources, and just was hungry to learn. And kind of a year later. Now I have a kind of a duplex out in Belleville that we're doing renovations in, and in the process of renting out my condo here in North York, just to kind of capitalize on how interesting the rental market has been.
Love
So,
it. That
um,
could be a whole nother conversation, man. I've seen some crazy rental numbers out in Toronto these days, so that's awesome that you're taking advantage.
yeah, man, and super excited to kind of be here. I will say this is my first Instagram live.
Good. I'm trying to be everyone's first. I'm trying to get everyone's first there. So how we do it here, we got three questions for you. We'll fire them off at you, have a good conversation, and let everyone get some feedback in. So I'll start it off. So as a real estate investor, whether you're new, intermediate, or the top of the top, everybody's always got an opinion about what we're doing. Everybody's always in my ear or got something to say about real estate investing. How do you or how have you stayed focused on what you're doing, your strategy, and your plan?
Yeah, it's a great question. And honestly, depending on how you operate, there could be definitely a lot of noise out there. But to kind of break it down, I think it really comes down to two things, and they're kind of the same thing, but it's really planning and environment design. So with anything, you need to have like a direction or a goal as to where you're going, because ultimately you need to have that GPS, you need to have that North Star, or else you're just kind of going in circles, right? And then once you have that goal in mind, then it's just a matter of kind of working backwards to then say, okay, if this is the end state and I'm here, what do I need to do to get from point A to point B? And this is my project manager hat,
There you go. I love it. I love it.
that I'm wearing. Like, you just create a work back schedule, because then you essentially then have your roadmap, and it's like, okay, there's your roadmap. At least you have that direction on a day by day basis, week by week, or month by month. Will you deviate? Yeah, 100%. But you have that baseline to always be like, okay, I may have deviated, but I know I got to go get back here. Then you just recalibrate and keep moving forward. So you have that goal, you have that sort of roadmap, and then that's where the second part kind of comes into play, like the environment design.
Yeah.
So for me, and I first learned this in a book called Atomic Habit. I
Okay.
don't know if you've ever read
No,
it,
I haven't read that one yet.
but by James Clear, an awesome book. I'll just I won't go on a tangent, but what he had said was, you have that goal. How do you create an environment that essentially stacks the odds in your favor to be successful?
Ooh.
So he uses an example in the book where, and I'm going to use this because I'm a runner, but let's say, you have a goal to run a half marathon 6 months from now. You have a plan to run like every morning, let's say. How do you create an environment that allows you to do what it is that you said that you'll do? So it could be a simple thing as, before you go to sleep at night, put out your like running shorts and your shirt. So that's the first thing that you see, you put it on, and then make your running shoes the first thing that's by the door. So it's making it as easy as possible to do what it is that you need it to do. So when it comes to, let's say, like the real estate space, right? Let's say if you have a goal of, I want to buy an investment property in 6 months, sort of to say, obviously you have to put in the work, you have to be doing the analysis, you have to be looking at deals. So how do you design your environment so that you are doing that you're putting in the work, where it's like, okay, let's say you have to analyze, 5 deals per day. Maybe if you have a schedule, or if you're, task oriented, put that like as the first thing that you do. So you kind of get out of the way, and keep doing that on like a day by day basis, or just having that consistency. So that's how that tying it all back to your question, how do you cut out the noise? It's having that direction, and then doing whatever it is that's in your control to design your environment, so you're like boom, 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 like no distractions, like
I
you're
love that.
focused.
Yeah, I really like that because, it's very hard to listen to people when your brain and your mind is so full of like what you're doing. Like, I think you did a great part bringing it back to the project management. You have the goal, you reverse engineer it. And if you just walk those steps, yeah, you might get bumped off from time to time. But if you're so focused, it's very easy to know where you're going. I think where it gets tricky is where people have a very vague idea. They're like, hey, I want to do real estate. And that's like as deep as they've got into it. It's very easy to get knocked off, right? Because now you're getting impact of, oh, you don't know what strategy you're doing, or you don't know what market, or you get some bad news from the press. You're like, oh, I don't even want to be in real estate. So I think at that point it gets really tricky. But what you said about really calibrating where you want to be, get focused, and then reverse engineer it back, and then as you take those steps forward, very easy for you to stay focused rather than getting knocked off either way. I really like that. That's a good insight there.
Yeah.
I'll jump to my second question here. So learning about real estate investing takes time, like you said, and it takes a whole lot of effort. I'm sure between us, we have, some thousands of hours between us in real estate education. Sometimes I feel like my Spotify playlist thinks I'm an old 50-year-old guy because I haven't listened to music in like years, because I really like consuming that content when I can. Don't get me wrong, I'll still get my jam in when I
Oh
need
yeah.
to, but a lot of the time I am listening to a lot of real estate or business related stuff. Back to the question, what have been some of your biggest resources in learning or educating yourself on the topic?
Yeah, great question. So I'll take it back a bit. Let's say, we go back in time a year ago.
Yeah.
I was doing exactly what you had said, started listening to all the podcasts that's applicable, Rise, Andrew Hines, Erwin Cetos, like all that stuff. Like I did a deep dive in that, picked up like a bunch of books, like Brandon Turner's like Investing in Rental Properties or something like that, Money People Deal, and pretty much consumed everything and watched like all the YouTube videos to be like, tell me what a burr is, or here's what some like the renovations that someone's doing. And that, I felt, create at least that foundational knowledge to be like, oh, this is a burr, or here's the process of X, Y, and Z, or, you know, refinancing, and just to understand what's happening in this space. What are people actually doing? But I came to a point where I'm like, how do I apply this? Like,
Yeah.
how do I actually go out and do all this stuff? And that's where what I'm finding right now is the biggest resource for me is the people. It's the people that you meet that who are doing what it is that you're looking to do, where you're doing that, and soaking in their knowledge and their experience, because there's so much that you can learn from a book, and not everything that, let's say, free resource that you can find online or in a book or in a podcast applies directly to your strategy, whatever that is, or in the market that you're investing in. So what I found was priceless is building out those connections, networking with people that are doing what it is that you're doing, because it's their knowledge that really helped me, that once I was in the nitty gritty of like, oh, this is what it really is.
Yeah.
It's like, they're like, oh yeah, okay, we went through that. Pay attention to this, or consider this, or just be aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's applicable because they're working in the city that you're working in. They're investing in the city that they're investing in. So if they have insight to how long permits might be in a city, or who should you be, which inspector should you try getting to stack the odds in your favor for your project, like you're not gonna get that in a I don't know, in a Brandon Turner book, because you know he's American. He's
100%.
from the States.
Yeah.
But
And I think,
yeah. So right now it's really the people, and you know, you always hear, make sure you have a strong power team, not only a network of investors, but everyone on that team, like your realtor, your mortgage broker, because your contractor, like all of them, because they're the people that are on the ground. They understand what's happening, when it's happening, and it's just more information to take in for your own decision making as an investor. So
100%. I couldn't have said it better. Like, you know, I think a lot of people talk about, like, you know, building the power team. I think that's there. I'll leave that point. But I think you made a really good point about, like, you know, networking with people who have done it before. You know, no book is gonna tell you which not which appraiser to go with. No book's gonna tell you, hey, talk to this person because they have an in that's gonna fast track you in this way. Nobody's gonna connect you like that. That ability to network and relate with people who are doing what you want to do in that area is so important. So I think you hit it on the head there. I love that part. Has there been any like tips or tricks that you've used to kind of meet these people, or has it all been organic?
a little bit of both. Early on, what I found, to connect with people in the city that I'm investing in, so Belleville, a little trick that I found was go on Facebook. There's a lot of like community groups that are specific to a city. I can assume like Belleville has this thing called Belleville Neighbors, and I think there's like at least 10,000 people on that. And Facebook, you know, it has this search function. So just look up someone like window repair or contractor or cleaner or whomever. And then if there's a business page for that specific person, oh, let me backtrack. You got to go through you got to go through the threads to find these folks. But typically, like, people will make recommendations on who they've used in the past, and that'll link you to their business accounts, and there'll be a phone number on that. And hey, I know it's 2022, and you know, millennials don't like picking up the phone, but that has been a key. I can't show my phone because I'm using it.
Yeah.
But that has been a key tool just to find and connect with trades and different people within the cities that you invest in. But then at the same time too, like, look in the circles and all the other Facebook real estate investing pages and see who's investing in the city that you're investing in. And, you know, maybe they don't have a phone number, but hey, you can do like a cold Facebook message and just say, hey, so-and-so, I'm Brandon. Nice to meet you. I noticed that we invest in the same city. It'd be great if we can connect sometime. And like, you know, you just kind of dial in your messages where try to as much as you can automate it so you can just, you know, do a shotgun approach and then see who comes back to you. And at first, like it feels, I'm speaking from experience, like it feels
Yeah.
weird, like just cold calling and cold messaging and being like, because you'll think, like you'll try to think from the other person's perspective and they'll be like, who's this person reaching out, blah blah
Yeah.
blah blah, but no, like one thing that I found was people are so willing to at least help or at least have a conversation. And one thing that's helped me a lot is don't, obviously there's a transactional aspect to things. I mean, we are running businesses, we do need to, you know, hire people, but don't have that first. I always try to think, hey, it's people first. Be interested in what it is that they have to offer, what it is that they have to say, and be engaging.
Yeah.
Like listen to what they're saying, and don't always try to think like, oh, how much is this, or you know, what's the quote on this, but you know, try to, I don't know, empathize or learn about that person, because they'll go a long way. Like, so
I think so too. I think so too. Like once you take that people first approach, I think the money's always there. Like you can always make more money, you can always pay someone more, but what you can't pay for is that relationship you build with them, whether it's like a trust relationship, a relationship that like turns into money. That's the stuff you can't buy or
yeah,
create. So like, you know, doing this kind of stuff, like connecting with people, going out meeting people, and like you said, pick up the phone. Like whenever my business is not doing well, I audit what I did this week. I didn't pick up the phone. I didn't talk to nobody. And then
yeah,
I start picking up the phone like crazy, and just miraculously things start going back the right way. So that's awesome. That's right there. Let me grab to my third question here and wrap up for us here. So if you could give you like a, what would you rather? If I
okay.
could give you all the money in the world or all the deals in the world, which one would you prefer as an investor?
I feel like it's a trick question, and whatever
Uh-oh.
I choose, there's gonna be some like backlash. But I'm gonna go with all the money in the world, and I'll
Interesting.
explain why. So,
Okay.
and this might be more specific to me. Everyone is different.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, if you ask yourself, or if I ask myself, um, why do we get deals? Like why do we source all the good deals? Why do we want good deals? It's to make profit. It's to
Yep.
make money. And then the next question is, why do we want money? At least for me, now we're going a little philosophical, but
Yeah.
for me, it's achieving that time freedom that money allows. So by choosing money over the deals, you're sort of I'm skipping a step to get to where I want to be, which is that time freedom. Because then I'll be in a position to be like, what is it that I really want to do?
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
awesome. And that's like huge because like, you know, a big part of like what I do in my business, like I said, I'm all about helping government employees invest in real estate, build wealth, retire early. But like a big part of that is having that freedom of time, because everyone wants to retire, but nobody's going to retire, sit on their couch and like look at a white wall for the rest of their life.
Mm,
They want the time and the freedom to do whatever they want. So I think that's like an underlying fact behind like, you know, whether you want to be wealthy, whether you want to retire, it's that time freedom that, you know, I can wake up, be wherever I want, with whoever I want, whenever I want, and I have control over that. So, you know what? I was kind of skeptical on your answer, but I'm glad you explained it like that. So I really like that. I really like that one. As we wrap up, did you have any questions for me before we chop this thing up?
yeah, I was curious actually. It was, maybe I missed this in the past, and I apologize, but it's sort of the first time I heard that, you know, you help support government workers kind of invest in real estate. What's the story behind there? How did you go to just targeting that specific audience?
100%. So don't get me wrong. I can help anyone. Like if you're looking to invest in real estate, hit my line. But the reason why I love government employees is because I've been a government employee. I am a government employee, and I get that. My first job was with the city of Pickering. Then I went to one of the biggest police services in the country. Then I went to a provincially funded organization. So I just get it. Like I've been in those rooms, whether it's a locker room or a boardroom, and I get that government mentality. I understand the pension. I understand the overtime, and I understand the oh my gosh, how many more years till I get out of here? And when I hear that around, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I found something that I'm passionate at and I'm good at, and I love to help people kind of get involved. And then I also understand it from some of the logistical things on the back end, like how we qualify, how we go about getting financing, and how we go about setting up our lives. So I think I got a really good outlook on helping government employees. So I love to talk to them, and we usually drum up conversations. But it's surprising because I remember I had someone message me and they're like, "Hey, do you only help government employees? Like, I like your stuff, but I don't work for the government." I'm like, no, 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 we can still talk. But that's definitely who we're going after to partner with right now.
Nice, nice. I love that, man. That's amazing.
Good stuff, man. Well, as we wrap up here, I think we had a great conversation. Like, honestly, like, I know I try to keep it to 10 to 15, I'm sorry, 15 to 20 minutes, but man, we could go on for hours there. Before we wrap up, where can people find out more about you if they want to learn about, Belleville, your journey, what you're investing in? Where can they hit you up?
Yeah, for sure. So just send me a DM on my Instagram. So Brandon.lapid, pretty straightforward. I'm on Facebook. Send me a friend invite as well, and just send me a DM, and we can go from there.
Awesome, guys. See, I'm telling you guys, we're all friendly in the real estate community. Nobody's out here trying to like stomp on anyone. We're all friendly. We're all down to talk. So just as we sum up today, my name's Isaiah Henry with First Position Real Estate. Like I said, I help government employees invest in real estate so they can build wealth, retire early. We had on Brandon today, had a great conversation, and we'll chop it up there. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. Any last thoughts for the viewers before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about doing something, just take action. You'll learn as you go, and that's something that's really helped me in the past 12 months. So just get off the fence and get off the sidelines and get on the court.
Get in the game. Get in the game. I love it, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, we'll talk to you later. Okay, Brandon?
All right, man. Peace.
See you,
Later.
buddy.